Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, a show about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're back looking at some more Borderlands. I decided that after looking at the Borderlands free skill trees, and being a little bit maybe unimpressed with some of it, that I would compare them to the Borderlands 2 skill trees. Now, I'm not going to go through every single ability. I just want to look at certain abilities that I think are interesting, and I'm going to kind of like do the comparison. So you can see we've got the siren here, we've got the siren there as well. So I'm going to kind of compare skills and stuff. But yeah, I'm not really feeling the Borderlands 3 skill trees. Not to say that they're terrible, because you've also got the action skill augments. Each character has some unique mechanics, which I think is going to make them more interesting. But the actual points you can put into the skills available to you don't always necessarily seem as interesting. Now, this isn't the same with every character, and this isn't the same with every tree, but I thought we'd go for it anyway, and I'll show you my points. So we're going to start with the siren. We're going to look at Maya, and we're going to look at Amara, and we're going to compare them. So what I mean is the skills that really kind of mix up gameplay. So you can see, like, not like shield capacity and all this stuff, none of that, but things like this. This one, like your phase lock ability, now also pulls enemies towards you. So this will be probably on Amara's skill, but it will probably be like an action skill augment. But this is actually like a thing you get in your tree, so I can see why they've split it to make it more interesting on that. But getting these kind of abilities in your tree is what makes it interesting. So you've got this one. We've also got subsequence. When an enemy dies under the effect of phase lock, there is a chance for your phase lock to seek out and affect another target, and you've got how 5 points probably goes into it. So these two abilities on its own are pretty interesting. And then the last one, which is phase lock, causes enemies to switch allegiance and fight amongst themselves. Additionally, phase lock's cooldown and duration are increased. So, like, these three skills in this tree are pretty fun. They're pretty cool looking. You've got one that pulls people together, seeks out someone else if you kill them, and then causes enemies around you to take to basically fight amongst themselves. And then we've got deflecting bullets one. Now, I know that Amara also has a deflecting bullet one, but just as an example, here's another one that has a chance to deflect bullets against enemies. And then most of the other stuff's pretty, like, you know, standard stuff: movement speed, phase lock duration, all that. So, but these three here, these are the ones that really kind of interesting. You know, they really change up the gameplay or give you a big buff in power. Moving on to Harmony, this is very much about healing this tree. So this one's pretty cool. Killing an enemy who is currently phase locked creates a life orb, and seek out and heal you or your friend. Actually pretty good for a level 1 skill there. Actually kind of interesting. And then I believe Res, this was pretty fun. You can instantly res someone by just using phase lock. Great skill. Very, very useful if you're playing in with more than one person. Nothing overly too interesting until you get to the bottom, which is the melee override. You throw an orb of slag that constantly damages enemies near it. This ability has 18-second cooldown. Pressing the melee with scorn is cooldown before my regular melee attack. So, you know, an extra ability: slag someone, kill them. This tree itself is very much about healing. It's not particularly interesting anyway, but resing is really, really powerful. Sweet release is really good, and scorn also very good. So you can see there's at least 3 abilities, I would say, in most trees that are like really good. So, and then have a look at this one. This is the Cataclysm one. This is all about element damage. Phase locking an enemy causes a fiery explosion, dealing all nearby enemies, damaging nearby enemies. Sorry, that's pretty fun. What have we got here? Chain reaction. Phase all your bullets that hit enemies have an 8% chance. 8% chance to ricochet and hit another enemy. Pretty cool. This one I like, this cloud kill. Shooting an enemy creates a lingering acid cloud, which lasts 5 seconds, dealing constant corrosive damage to enemies who touch it. So you can already see in this tree, like, there's some pretty cool skills. Backdraft, your melee attacks deal additional fire damage. Also, when your shields become depleted, you create a fiery explosion, damaging nearby enemies. Shields must be fully recharged between explosions. So already there's like some pretty fun things you can do with elements in this tree. Killing an enemy causes you to deal constant fire and corrosive damage nearby enemies for a short time. And then very at the bottom we've got Ruin, which is phase lock now slags, corrodes, and electrocutes all nearby enemies. So you can see, like, I've played the Siren. I went down the Harmony skill because I was playing co-op. I thought it'd be good to have a healer. Like, I actually do like a lot of the skills this character has. Now, if we look at Amara, we'll start with her, the one it starts on the Mythical Assault. So there's nothing in here that I has like maybe one or two things, but nothing like hugely interesting. Rush is pretty cool, because this whole skill tree is built around the idea of using Rush, and you can use that to power up your action skill, increase damage. But like things, reload speed, what we got here, affects Rush as well. Cooldown rate, what's this one? Oh, this is a good. These kind of skills are good. This buffs up all of your action skill augments. So all the action skill augments, these ones here, and all the other ones on the other tree get a buff. 20%, 100%, 50%, all this sort of stuff. That is a good skill. That is interesting. Why wouldn't you get that massively increases? So this one, like Soul Sap Lifesteal, what does it do normally? So 30% of damage dealt. Add another 20% on that. That's 50%. So that cool skill. Interesting. Fire rate. But you can see I'm struggling to find things that are really interesting. Oh, here's one. When Amara kills an enemy with a gun or action skill, she creates a homing projectile that seeks out a new enemy, dealing her action skill element damage, which is this thing. So in this case, shock, I believe. Yeah. So stuff like that. That's interesting. That one, sorry. That's the stuff I'm on about, where it's like really interesting. A lot of these things here, they do combo well together with this whole rush thing and then extra damage and reload stuff, but they're not as... The whole point of having these skill trees is to have these fun abilities, and that's why these action skill augments and these new action skills exist. That's increased rush effectiveness. And then what's this one? Mara's action skill can be activated while it's cooling down, and increases max rush stacks. So basically lets you trigger it early. It refunds half of rush, nice, and gives you more rush. So like, this whole tree is about having those stacks to be able to do things, but there aren't that many things I want to put my points into. Like, yes, this one, and this one. And then you're basically looking at ones that's like, well, like that. Fire rate and charge time. It's like, it's not particularly interesting, especially when it's only like 4%. They really do need to make these buffs a bit bigger. But like, let's move on to the next tree. Let's have a look in this one. So this is the Fist of Elemental one. So we've got increased damage, weapon handling and accuracy, action skill augment. What's this one? Gun damage increased for a few seconds after enemies grasped. That's pretty cool. Reloads your current gun if you kill an enemy in it. So that's pretty fun. And we've got a chance to ricochet bullets here as well. So stuff like that, like that's actually, I like things like that where it's what's it going to be? 30% overall. So it's not a huge amount, but it's cool. Magazine size is all right. This one's pretty good. Triggers an elemental effect on an enemy. When that enemy dies, they explode, dealing her attuned element damage along with other elements in the enemy. Has a short cooldown, so that's pretty cool. You can essentially just start doing a lot of splash damage. Life steals, alright. This one's fun. Whenever Amara applies a status effect to an enemy, she gains a chance to randomly electrocute, ignite, or melt. So this kind of, I mean, unfortunately the chance of it's not going to be hugely high. It will get higher, I suppose, but like, these kind of skills are the kind of thing I'm talking about, where it really changes up what you're doing. The fact that it has a random chance to do one of those three things is good. And then guns deal bonus elemental damage based on an action skill augment, so 18%. So if this doesn't scale, that's rubbish. But obviously I don't know that. But you can see, like, I'm just looking over Amara stuff. I mean, I'm not a Siren player anyway. Like, I don't enjoy playing the Siren that much. Like, they're definitely my least favourite class. Not because it's bad, it just doesn't appeal to me that much. But it's just some of these skills in these trees just don't seem that good. What's this one? Shot deal bonus damage based on distance. That's pretty cool. It's just, so like, up to 30% extra damage. I kind of like that. That's like the idea of using shotguns close you are. You're just going to shoot things about getting right up in people's face. Regens health. Bonus is double, that's pretty cool. What else we got here? Increased splash, reduced splash, that's fun. Like, if you can do that. Takes reduced splash damage, it's good. What we've got here? Whenever Amara deals damage to an enemy with her action skills, she adds a stack of Samsara. Every Samsara, Amara gains increased gun damage and health regen. So, like, not a bad kill. It's not really a kill skill, is it? But like, not a bad passive ability. Like, it's all right. Action skill. Increased melee damage is always good. I like things like that. Mindfulness, improves shield. So you can see this particular tree is pretty much all about, like, whenever you take damage or whenever you kill someone, an effect happens. but nothing overly interesting. So the problem is, we're gonna throw an orb back at them. That's pretty fun. I like that one. Fight for your life. This one's good. When you enter fight for your life, yeah, you gain a second wind, restores your health, creates an action skill, elemental nova, and knockback. And then lastly, you've got this melee override, which is also interesting. Dash, short distance, and perform a special melee strike. If a blitz melee kills an enemy, blitz the cooldown immediately resets. So, just looking at the siren here, you can see my point of like the differences here versus the ones in here. I think that just because you have these action skill augments and these new other action skills, well, that's an element in that case, but these other ones, it kind of like, there are a few good abilities in this tree, but nothing like amazing. Let's look at Flak and Zero quickly, because I think it makes a huge difference. Let's go to you. Like, Zero's got some really cool abilities. Ball being one of my favourites. Shots pierce through enemies, gaining 100% damage per enemy pierced. Enemy crit locations are highlighted in Deception. Fantastic skill. It means you can shoot multiple people when they're lined up, and you can see their crits. If we stick Flak on, which one is it? I believe it's the Hunter. So we'll come to him in a minute. So we're just going to look at the sniping tree and then that one. Most of these ones are alright, nothing too interesting. And then we get things like, this is the critical ascension, which is scoring a critical hit with a sniper gives you increased crit damage, and damage with sniper rifles can stack up to 999 times. Pretty good if you're going pure sniping. Really cool. This tree, not the most interesting apart from Boar, but like if you're playing purely as a sniper, like all of these skills are pretty good. But like in terms of being actually interesting, like accuracy, zoom, critical hit damage, velocity, bullet speed's okay, like one shot, one kill, like extra, it's the first shot, yeah, extra damage. This one's alright, where you can, the longer you look down your sights, the more damage it does, but you know, just Boar, really good. If we look at what Flak has, he doesn't really have anything like that. This whole tree, while it's about crit damage and sniping, it's all about these hunter kill skills, which, you know, aren't bad, it's just they're very small amounts of stuff. Even when you max this out, it's like 10%, 50%, you know, okay, it's a first level skill. This one here, like, gaining ammo added to their magazine, I think is absolutely rubbish. It's like one of the worst skills in this tree. Like, I don't know, I get it for snipers if you're doing it, but because you only get 36%, it's not even 50% or something. I know it's a first level skill, but it's just not great. Another one, reload speed, pretty good, actually. But you can see, none of these things are particularly interesting. Extra projectiles alright, but again, it's such a small amount. Cash one's pretty fun, you're gonna get a bit more money, extra damage. Hunter, so this was pretty good. This hunter skills become much more effective and have longer duration. That you want if you've got hunter kill skill. Where's the other one? Hunter kill skill. Hunter kill skill. So you've got ones in this tree that which are worth it just to buff up, but increases crit damage. This is alright. Like, hopefully you can see my point where I'm going with this, where nothing's like particularly interesting, and this is alright. That one's actually kind of fun, where you can basically score a critical hit no matter where you hit. But you can see, like, you know, looking at all the different trees, like, these are cool. They combo together really well, and I know that, like, again, it's about the pets, or it's about this action skill augments, like I keep saying, but look what's in this tree, for example. You've got this one, Death Mark. That's pretty cool. You can now tag people, basically. Rising Shot, each successful ranged or melee attack gives you damage. Stack up to 5 times. Faster weapons gain more. Like, there's some really, like, interesting. Unforeseen blows up. Every chance you fire has a 6% chance to fire twice. That's actually pretty good. It's not, again, not too overly interesting. Death Blossom, being able to fire the kunai, really fun. Doesn't take you out of deception. Really good skills. We've got this one, which is execute, which allows you to charge in and attack. And then killing an enemy keeps spawning it. It keeps extending the duration of deception, like backstab. You know, there's some actual, like, this one's huge, this killing blow. Like, you can do like foams and melee damage with low health, just murder people. But like, I feel like this is a problem that I'm seeing. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't going to be, these skill trees aren't good. I'm also not saying that, you know, you've got these action skill augments. You've also got the fact that the guns are way more interesting in 3 with their crazy abilities. But I'm not hugely impressed. I would say Moe's probably has the most interesting skill trees in my opinion. Zane's are alright as well. I will show like the commando quickly. Look what he's got. Adds a second gun, slag, blows up like a nuke, 2 turrets, sticks the turret to the wall, gives the turret a shield, has a silly amount of range. You can see like adds rockets. Like the actual commando stuff, that's really interesting to me. All of those. And what we've got here, got the master one, which is this is the one about all the beasties and stuff, like dominance over an enemy, turning into. That's cool. You can basically turn beasts and stuff into your pets. Like that's actually pretty cool. There's one here that lets you pet. I think it's this tree. Yeah, lets you pet heal you when you fight. Now there are good stuff here. There's like fun things, but it's just one of those things where it's like I just don't know. Like I just don't feel like they're quite as interesting. And even pre-sequel has some really interesting skills in it as well. Now I'm not looking at like I'm not looking at the Necromancer and the Psycho because they've got some crazy things as well. But like with Moe's, if you look at this one, this is all like shield based. Shield is fully depleted, she instantly restores a portion of a shield and gun damage, and like that's pretty powerful. Like this whole tree is about her basically being like shielding and stuff. But at least her things seem fairly interesting. Like if you want to go like heavy tank, I always like this one, bottomless mags. There's some fun stuff in here. Most constantly regens ammo, which is pretty good, but like infinite ammo for a few seconds, which is fun. Increases gun damage. Like this whole entire thing is about her having a ton of ammo and just being able to constantly fire. Again, not the most interesting skills, but they all combine pretty well to be pretty fun. But hopefully my point's coming across where they don't necessarily seem that interesting. Now obviously I won't know fully until this one's good as well. Iron Bear becomes Auto Bear, which is pretty cool. And also this one, gun damage, secondary explosion is pretty fun as well. But my thing is, like, I'm really looking forward to Borderlands 3. Let me just say that right now. I am looking forward to this game. I think the game is going to be good. I just feel like the skill trees could be a bit more interesting. Now, I get that they've gone for these to make them really change up how you play. But it's like, I don't like it when, like, bonus incendiary damage, 3%. Now, I know this is a first level skill. So I've got a 15% bonus. It's like, that's not interesting. And it's the same with the other games as well. Like if you look at this one, like critical hit damage, 20%. But the thing about that, it's actually straight up crit hit damage versus that one, which is fire damage. So that's like insane, especially if you're sniping. And then you get kill skill, killing an enemy gives you that much more. Like that's insane already. 60% loaded. You know, if we just level this up a minute, just look at the stats increase here. 25% is pretty good. Velocity, bullet speed, bore. I'm just going to look at these versus thingies. 40% crit damage, depending on how long you can go on sights. Like, eventually they end up having massive drastic, like 20%, yeah, 60% aim steadiness, whatever. This one gives you 75 and 50 because it's a kill skill. Then we get into 60%, then we got 100%, then we got 100% there, 40%, you know, and it's like bigger numbers. When it's like numbers like 15 or 30, like 15, 30, 20, it's just these damage numbers. That's what I think is my problem, is seeing these skills have fairly low numbers. Like, I don't know how much of this is going to stack when you level up. Or increase, sorry. But, like, I just wish things were just a bit... Even if these skills like this one, where it's like set people on fire, was a bit further down the tree, and it was more like, hey, it does 40% chance or 40% increased damage, something like, you know, if that was down here or something, it'd be way more interesting in my opinion. But I mean, I'm not the person making this. I don't know how balanced these trees are, and obviously again the guns are going to make a huge difference as to what you've got. But I just think it's really important to kind of look at it, because this reminds me more like Borderlands 1 trees, which are quite basic and they do have some fun elements to it. But Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel, even though I didn't enjoy pre-sequel that much, the skill trees were pretty interesting from what I remember. Like the Huntress in that one has like a whole skill tree all about giving someone a contract and like doing stuff around that. Like just interesting mechanics. So it's going to be good playing this game and seeing how this turns out. And when I do get to playing Flak, you know, I probably will go down the this tree here, the Hunter one, because I want to play like full-on sniper, and the crit stuff is going to be awesome. But I think the interesting thing for me playing Flak isn't this tree. is going to be using the spider ant, is going to be using, so really I probably should go down this tree, which is all about the pet, but using the spider ant and all that stuff. And I look forward to doing that. Like, I look forward to the gameplay and things. Like, I am really looking forward to this game. It's going to be good. But I just wish the skill trees were just a little bit better. And just hope for a few more interesting skills in it. So, we'll see what happens when the game comes out and I play it. And then I can report back on it and how I feel. And, you know, give my opinion on it then. But as of right now, at first glance, they're not bad skill trees. I just don't think they're as good as Borderlands 2's or pre-sequels. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. As always, that's going to do it for me today. If you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more of this stuff, hit subscribe. And obviously comment down below. Give me your opinions. Do you think these skill trees are interesting? Do you think I'm being too harsh? Or should I just wait and find out? You know, have a discussion. Start one down there. But until next video, I'll see you then.